guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over quite the article titled, Woman who had a one-night stand with man that she met in a nightclub is ordered by a high court to pay him £25,000 after a campaign of harassment, including lying to the police that he did some pretty awful things to her. I got to watch what I say here. And guys, like the title says, this is about a guy who won £25,000, was awarded £25,000. And maybe right off the bat you're thinking, hey, that's great. Well, no, it's not. Because for 10 years after meeting a woman in London, hooking up with her, one-nighter, she lost her mind and has been bugging him, bothering him, putting it mildly, saying all sorts of things about him, jeopardizing his life, his career, everything, and saying things that could have gotten him thrown behind bars for 10 years, and that's all he got. It's absolutely crazy. And that'll be a very good one to go over here, guys, making the point. Two major things. Number one, how biased the courts and the system, if you will, are against men in a negative way, and how lenient they are towards the gals. And two, another example why so many men are walking away, not just from marriage and relationships, but dating and hookups, because you never know. This was a one-nighter. Obviously, the guy, and I believe he's innocent, didn't do anything, and for 10 years, this wacko, as you're going to see, did all this. Is it worth it? No. And more guys are walking away. I mean, look at the stats about the dating apps. The young generation guys just aren't interested anymore because they see what is out there. And I'm hearing these stories and all that, really, is just not worth it. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to go through this one here. Really makes the point that I talk about, that you guys are well aware of. And, just how you have to watch yourself. End of freaking story. So it starts off, says here, a woman who had a one-night stand with a businessman that she met in a nightclub has been ordered to pay him £25,000 after she launched a horrific campaign of harassment and falsely said things about him of a graping. Mail Online can reveal. Cynthia Chai was ordered to pay the five-figure sum to energy trader. I'm not going to begin to try to pronounce this guy's name. His last name starts with an O, so I'm going to call him Mr. O. Energy trader Mr. O, who's 44, for both harassment and libel, bringing to an end a bitter high court battle that she refused to engage with. The court heard how Mr. O, who lives in Dubai but travels regularly for work, met Miss Chai in London at a nightclub in 2015, but within months she began a sustained, relentless, and vindictive campaign of harassment that lasted almost 9 years. Can you believe that, guys? That is crazy. Again, keep your you-know-what out of crazy. And I'm going to post a link to this article, and you can look at the people in this story. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Mr. O has been awarded £25,000 in damages after the High Court judge ruled that he had faced years of harassment and malicious intent, while Miss Chai failed to turn up at court and was not represented. £25,000 for let's be honest, for 10 years of this? That's all he gets? I guarantee that was a drop in the bucket of what he spent in legal costs, let alone the damage to his reputation, his career, all that. And oh yeah, I think she said could wind him up in prison. £25,000? Yeah, Nigel, the fucking British judge here, I would have been like, you know what, Nigel, Judge Nigel, I don't want your fucking money. Kiss my ass. Or her money. Not even worth it. Speaking exclusively to Mail Online, the father of three said, when I met her, she seemed perfectly normal. Well, as a lot of people say. For someone to be that persistent for so long on a lie, I pray for her. I wouldn't be praying for anybody that's trying to do me wrong. Send her straight down. There's definitely something wrong with her, and I don't know what it is. I met this person for less than 12 hours. That was it. And to me, that's the scariest part of it. Mr. O says that he was left traumatized and shocked by the allegations, explaining, I think she is a very hateful and troublesome person, and she's lied for so many years about something like that, reposting the same thing. There were so many accusations of, and I gotta watch what I say here, guys, grape, taking the kids, conniving with the Metropolitan Police, getting her pregnant. It was all just baseless accusations. The accusations were beyond belief. I only ever met her once in my life. He says she probably thought I had a lot of money and was looking to extort me. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. Because I refused to be extorted, she started this hateful Instagram campaign on me and her friend. It is unbelievable that anybody could come up with these kind of things. Mr. O says that he is relieved by the legal victory, but believes he should have been awarded more, as it does not fully account for the depth of damage to my reputation and well-being. You're darn right, £25,000 whoopee. I'd love to know what he paid to the attorneys for all this, and having to travel back and forth for court and again his reputation. He also said social media companies have a greater role to play, adding that anyone can just go to the internet now or on Instagram, create a fake post, and say anything with anyone, and Instagram will keep it there. I don't understand it. There are people who could have offed themselves. You could lose your job, you could lose your family, just by someone out there creating these remarks about you. Court documents show that the pair met when Mr. O asked one of Miss Chai's friends to pass on his number to her. They partied together at the Steam Bar in the Hilton Hotel in Paddington, West London, and proceeded to have a one-nighter in his room later that night. So all it took, guys, was just that one night of rolling in the hay with this crazy bitch. And then 9 to 10 years of never-ending BS. That's all it takes. Guys, you gotta be careful. It is not worth it. Mr. O then flew back to Dubai the following day, and despite only meeting her once, they stayed in contact. However, by early 2016, the relationship exploded when Miss Chai accused him of having you-know-what with somebody else, which they both denied. It was at this point that Miss Chai then began to repeatedly confront Mr. O about allegedly having you-know-what with her friend, including threatening to destroy him and asking him to send her thousands of pounds. Mr. O, who admits he continued to speak to her about other matters, says he transferred her £250, which he believed was to cover her phone bill. Smack! That just encouraged her to do this more. Her phone bill, are you kidding me? However, the intimidating messages from Miss Chai that escalated with her threatening to tell his friends and repeatedly calling his workplace, sometimes more than 100 times a day, the court heard. 100 times a day. That is psycho. Well, the bitch is crazy. What, does she have a job? Clearly this is her job. She probably has lots of guys like this. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Distressed by the harassment, Mr. O returned to London in May 2016 to report Miss Chai to the Metropolitan Police. She was arrested and quizzed over the allegations in June, that years before bailed on the condition that she did not contact him or contact his colleagues. Okay, so all the way back then. But just 6 weeks later, Miss Chai texted one of his colleagues saying that Mr. O will spend the rest of his life in jail. However, this was only the beginning. Mr. O's world would come crashing down when Miss Chai then accused him of graping in September 2016. Well, she knew what she had to say. That's all it takes is an accusation. Done. And it doesn't make a difference if you're cleared of all charges. People are still going to think, oh, he just got some, slick lawyer to get him off. And you'll always be remembered as that. Never fails. They returned to London for a voluntary police interview in October 2017 and was subsequently cleared when detectives told him that no further action would be taken over that allegation. But in January 2018, she started to bombard him again with calls, and before setting up multiple Instagram profiles with names including, I'm not going to say the names, but a bunch of different profile names on Instagram, where she posts defamatory statements that the court heard. In the flurry of posts, she repeatedly accused him of being a grapist and shared his name and photo publicly. She also alleged that he had paid police officers and the medical staff to destroy evidence. Get the fuck out of here. Now, is that impossible that somebody as wealthy could pull some strings and bribe people? Of course it can happen. But this is London. This is England, where, guess what? Men are fucked. Well, let's be honest here. You guys over in the UK know what I'm talking about here. They would love to get a guy for something like this. So the fact is, every time he goes there to deal with this, and he walks away fine, and they obviously know she's nuts. But where's her being arrested? Where's her being having consequences to all these things? Even though they find out that obviously he didn't do it. Nothing. It only encourages more bad behavior. Anybody, in my opinion, guys, whatever sentence a guy could get for these various things, if it's found that somebody accused you and absolutely without a shadow of a doubt they were making up, they themselves should have to deal with the same sentence or fate. That's what I think. Launching a lawsuit against Ms. Chai, he claimed that the impression of the post from a member of the public would be that he was a grapist and he had paid authorities to alter or destroy the evidence in the course of a criminal investigation against him. Ms. Chai continued to share defamation posts on Instagram over several years between January 2018 and at least December 2021. God, she's relentless. On December 31st, 2021, where she shared a photo of his face and claimed that he had drugged and did a lot of things and impregnated her. In September 2022, the harassment continued on Twitter, which is now X, where she repeated the allegation that he was a rapist. I really hope this video doesn't get flagged with me having to say this all the time. You know what I mean? She then made an Instagram account with a username, I can't say it, but it's awful, where she again shared photos of his face and published 8 defamation posts. Amid the bombardment of false allegations, she also claimed he had did bad things to her kid, tagging the Metropolitan Police, Dubai Police, and National Crime Agency. Mr. O sued her for defamation amid her online claims that he was, you know what he was claiming, drugged her, bribed the police officers and medical staff to destroy evidence, conspired to pervert the course of justice, and abusing her kid. His lawyer submitted that his client should have been awarded £120,000 for the harassment and defamation. However, the judge ruled Miss Chai would only be awarded to pay £25,000. Shocker, again, making things so easy for the sweet and innocent, harmless gal there. Yeah, £120,000 at least. But here's the thing, if she doesn't have the money, that's great. Civil charges, civil court, what about criminal? What about criminal charges? Why isn't she being locked up? At least for a freaking year, if not more. Mr. O also sued Ms. Chai over harassment following her repeated calls to him and his workplace, as well as threatening, damaging messages to his family and friends. Ms. Chai did not appear in court and was not represented. Deputy High Court Judge Susie, it was a woman, shocker, said that she is not engaged at all with the proceedings, which resulted in a default judgment being ordered. The judge therefore only had to rule the amount of damages to award against Ms. Chai and whether any injunctive relief was required against her. Deputy High Court Judge Susie Allegri, I think I'm pronouncing that right, ruled that it is important for general damages in a defamation action to vindicate the claimant's good name, and it should be clear from this judgment that there is no truth at all in the defamation posts. The fact that Mr. O had a consensual S-word encounter with Ms. Chai does not reflect a kernel of truth and in no way justifies the horrific campaign of harassment, abuse, and defamation that he has been subjected to for over 9 years. That's great, Judge. However, where is the freaking money? The posts were clearly malicious, which may be considered an aggravating factor, and one for which a degree of compensation is due for injury to feelings. £25,000, that's the best idea? Please, she's full of crap. In light of all the circumstances of this case, weighing up the gravity of the allegations, the backdrop of years of harassment, malicious intent, and failure to engage on the part of the defendant against the very evidence of harm, particularly in this jurisdiction, and the limited distribution of the libel, I award a global figure of £25,000 in damages for both the harassment and the libel. Oh, thanks, Judge. That's so nice of you. The court also heard that arising out of her obsession with Mr. O, she has physically attacked Miss such and such several times in public. The friend that she claimed that he hooked up with. Ms. Chai was convicted of common assault in February and sentenced to 10 weeks in prison with a restraining order for 5 years. Oh, whoopee. And that was against the other woman, not about this guy. The judge also rules that injunctive relief was justified to protect Mr. O's reputation and his right to a private life. The judge also added it is clear that such injunctive relief is a necessary and proportionate measure to put a stop to the ongoing attacks to the client. Come on, proportionate? 10 years this has been going on. You call that proportionate? Why isn't she doing time for what she did to him? Where's the bigger money? I guarantee he paid more than £25,000 for his legal fees. I'm sure the lawyers watching this are like, what? There you go. So that's how it ended. And do you think £25,000 and her 10 weeks in the slammer is going to stop her? I bet she's going to be right back to harassing this guy. 10 years, £25,000? That's £2,500 a year. Whoopee. Come on here. So there you go, guys. It wasn't super long, but it's really making the point here. So, gentlemen, be careful for you younger guys out there who you get involved with, even the one-nighters. And I get it could be in a club or a bar, wherever you meet these gals, or a Tinder date or something like that if you do that, and she's pretty and you think it's an easy lay. This is what can happen. And it goes to show you, and also how biased it is against men. This is why men are walking away. And this is why people talk about, oh, these guys are walking away, these incels, these guys are ridiculous. Look, read these articles, see real-life examples, how guys are screwed here. You cannot blame us for raising hell. Until things change, our attitude is going to remain the same. Now, I'm going to read some the whole comment section is full of people just like me saying things just like what I've been saying here. One guy says, I doubt she even has 2,500 pounds in her bank account. She should have gotten jail time. The amount of harassment could have caused the man to off himself. It's destroyed his life and reputation. She does not deserve to be free to do this to somebody else. Well, she will do it again. In fact, I believe she'll do it again to this guy. Another one, this guy says, this nasty and toxic individual should be in jail. Don't understand why she isn't locked up after trying to ruin this man's life, which she almost succeeded in doing. Really and truly, the outcome of the court is laughable. She should be languishing in a prison cell. I wholeheartedly agree. And last one, it says, anyone making these kind of accusations of SA should receive a sentence of time and a half, the sentence that the accused would have received when they were convicted. They will never introduce such sanctions, though, as they would be howls of unfairness from women's group claiming it will stop people from coming forward. Tough. As it stands, those accused of SA face an uphill battle just to be treated fairly. Thank you. And again, we all know it. The second a guy is accused of anything, that's it. Because you know darn well how the media will spin it, and the public will make up their mind instantly. And again, he can get off, and it could be all the evidence out there, doesn't matter. They're always going to think, oh, and the wealthier he is, oh, he bribed the judge, or he paid people off, or just some slick lawyer got him off, and that will impact his whole life. But a lot of people don't understand that, and I've tried to explain this to people sometimes in my life. I've had these conversations going back years, and it's like trying to explain to a 4-year-old the birds and the bees. They don't get it, you know? But they're innocent, doesn't matter. But the court said, doesn't matter. Once you're accused, that is it. You're done for fucking life. So anyhow, guys, like I said before, watch who you have your playtime with. It can bite you in the ass for the rest of your life. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you find a good article you want me to cover or a personal story you want me to go through, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.